Sziasztok, kedves AVTV nézők! A most következő videóban Michael O'Rourke, a Linn munkatársa oszt meg néhány érdekességet a Linn 360 high-end hangfal és a skót cég egyéb megoldásai kapcsán. A beszélgetést magyar felirattal tudjátok megnézni. A Linn 360 már Magyarországon is kipróbálható a Home Movie bemutató termében, mely nemrég új demonszobával is bővült, itt vettük kamerára a következő beszélgetést is. Ezt a videót kiegészítésnek szánjuk a Linn 360-ról készült bemutató cikkünkhöz, melynek linkjét a leírásban találjátok meg.
We joined up with Home Movie a couple of years ago because they were just absolutely the right people. They're passionate about audio and about doing the right things, setting the systems up properly. They really knew how to get behind the brand, and part of that was this amazing demo space. So right from the get-go, Csaba said, I want to have the best demo space in Hungary, and I think he's achieved that here. And he wanted to have the best system that he could put in it as well. So really I came over to support with the launch, help set up all the systems, and as I think you heard yesterday, make it sound absolutely amazing.
What was your support? You came here to fine-tune the system or give other recommendations?
Well, I work in business development, so part of what I do is work with Csaba to discuss and plan how we want to go about bringing Linn into the Hungarian market. And really, I'll support in any way that helps him achieve that. So, day one, we spent hours tuning the system, you know, really going to that last centimetre because it really matters, and getting the absolute most out of the system. Yesterday, met some reviewers, we met some retailers, and today we get to have a brilliant day where get to chat with yourself, and later on we're going to have some of his top customers in and blow them away with this sound.
How would you categorize this? So let's say there's middle category, there's ultra high-end category. Where would you position this kind of system?
This is certainly high-end. I mean, this is the top level that we produce. This is our flagship monoblock amplifier. This is our flagship speakers, and this is our upper mid streamer. So this is definitely at the higher end. I mean, for someone who's brand new to this, I honestly would just want them to sit down and listen to the orchestra in the room, listen to the sound of the jazz club before Miles Davis has even played a note, sort of thing. That's what a system like this does. It should almost disappear so that all you hear is the live performance, the live recording.
Linn systems are seemingly very simple to use. I mean, it doesn't seem more complicated than an average hi-fi system, but as you've been talking about it yesterday, you mentioned functions that are integrated into the system. Can you name these systems, for example, the room equalization that we've been talking about?
To clarify the first point, they are easy to use for the customer. So the customer should be able to sit down, hit play, and just be blown away by the amazing sound. That's why we need a specialist like Csaba, someone who's trained, Peter and Joel, someone who's trained to do all the other stuff in the setup. Space optimization is key to that, and that's part of how, I mean, you heard the demo, that's part of how we've made such an amazing sound in here. So space optimization is it's designed because every room has a distorting effect on the system. So if we took this system and we put it in your living room, it would sound different than if it was in here, or if it was in my living room. So with space optimization, Peter, Csaba and I sat down and we made an actual acoustic model of this room. So we put in the height, how far away the walls were, the materials of everything, where the windows, the doors were, even the open space there that goes into the rest of the shop. All of that was in that model. And then it calculates where that peaks of energy is, where that distortion is going to come from, and removes that so that all you hear is the music exactly as it's meant to sound, which makes it a lot more personal, makes you feel a lot closer to the music as well. But as I say, that's for the Linn specialist to do and to set up for you. And really that's a key thing with buying any hi-fi, is going to the right person who's actually going to do the setup, because they will get so much more music out of any system for you.
These speakers, they don't look like just ordinary speakers. I can see that the driver unit configuration is different than the average boxes the consumers can find in the market. I can see it's health active, there are speaker wires and power wires connected as well. Mm-hmm. Can you address these highlights of the speaker? What makes it different from the average high-end boxes.
Really key, as you pointed out, the drive unit. So that was a massive focus, and it was about using the right materials with inherent stiffness and lightness so that they don't colour the music at all, so they don't add any distortion. I was talking to you yesterday about the mid driver, for example. That pushes distortion 3 octaves higher than the human ear can hear. That's what we've measured it at. So they're not colouring the sound at all, which is why you're getting such an emotional, detailed connection. The other point about the drive units and the shape of the cabinet, the drive units sit flush on the cabinet. And you'll see the shape, it tapers all the way around to a point at the back. And what might not be noticeable at first is actually the taper that way, so that there's a different radius on the cabinet at each of those drive units. Why would we do all this? It's about dispersion. And because of that, because of the cabinet design and the drive unit sitting flush with the baffle, it emanates the sound out and away from the speaker without obstruction. So this means amazing dispersion, which creates an unbelievable image and soundstage. Now, yesterday, I got you to stand up and walk around the room while we were playing. And unlike many speakers that you have to sit dead in that point for it to actually sound good, these sound good anywhere in the room. It's honestly like being in a jazz club and you're walking around the band, everyone stays in the same position, that picture. So that's a massive part of this. So yeah, extremely low distortion through the materials of the drive units, and the shape of the cabinet design creates amazing dispersion. This version is passive with active bass. So the top 3 drivers are passive, and we have active bass in the lower drivers. We have a fully exact version, which is like Linn's digital version of active. It does so much more than active, but we could be on this podcast for 40 minutes if I get into that. But it is remarkable, and that's our top one. In this version, you're absolutely right, the bass is active. So the bass, we use something that we've developed called power DAC. So this is where we match the power amplifier and the DAC into one single step. The benefit of this is we can actually protect the signal, keep it digital, much closer to the drive unit than ever before. This creates very immersive, detailed, seismic bass. Another benefit of that is because of the power DAC being both steps in one, we fix the noise floor digitally. So in a normal amplifier, as you turn the volume up, you get more music, of course, but you also get more noise. In this, because it's fixed digitally, as you turn it up, you're getting more music, but the noise stays the same, so the ratio is actually better. So it means that they're designed to play powerful, immersive, seismic bass. It's an awful lot, but honestly, for the customer, they just sit down and get blown away by the music.
A few words about the amplifiers. These are remarkable, huge boxes. And like you said yesterday, these are the lowest distortion amplifier Linn has ever created. Mm-hmm. But you also mentioned that you designed the amp to be able to drive any speaker on the market. Exactly. So my understanding is you try to target users that are not specifically Linn users, maybe. They just have very good quality speakers and they can use the amplifier with their own kind of speaker as well.
Exactly. I mean, it's a great other option for someone who's into that big separate system. So maybe they've got, big huge speakers from another brand they absolutely love. Now, I would still be telling them I think the best system you can go for is a Climax Hub, an Exact 360, but not everyone's going to want to do that. So they will still love those speakers. If they put these amplifiers with them, it'll drive them optimally at all times. So the tech behind the amplifiers, as you said, it's all about being able to drive any speaker optimally at all times. So the big focus is reducing distortion and noise. These are AB amplifiers, so we use something called adaptive bias control, where the bias point, the bias current, isn't set once, like in most amplifiers, where it then wavers off. It's constantly, in real time, adjusting again, so it drives, so it's operating optimally at all times, extremely efficient. There's actually lots of feedback loops throughout the amplifier, digital and analog, which are constantly adjusting so that it's optimal. And the cooling system in here doesn't use a fan, so it draws cool air in the bottom and it expels it out through these very discrete vents at the top. And you felt it yesterday, we've been running them all day today and they're still quite cool. So again, it means it's really efficient running optimally at all times.
The vinyl player, the turntable.
Yes.
You told us yesterday that this is the longest running product in the history of hi-fi.
Yes, it is.
But what does it mean?
This was launched in 1973 and it's still in this format. So what that means is someone kind of bought this turntable back in 1973 when Linn launched and Ivor created the turntable, and they can upgrade all the different elements so it reaches today's spec. Or if they buy an entry-level one like this Magic LP12 here, over time they can build on that and get higher and higher performance. The obvious beauty of this for the customer is they don't have to chuck away a turntable and start again, and then chuck away a turntable and start again as the technology comes out. They actually can buy each part and invest and build on it, so it's actually an investment. Obviously for the retailer that's brilliant because then they have this long-going relationship with their customer as well, and if you get the right retailer like Chaba who can actually set the table up as well, that's really important. Somebody can service it, look after it too. So yeah, so someone buys the LP12 and it's the last turntable they'll ever need to buy.
So if I buy a Linn system, is it complicated to set it up? What do, as if I'm the buyer, the customer, do I have to be a skilled person? Is it hard to configure the system?
You shouldn't have to do anything. So that's why we work with Chaba, Peter, Joel. They are Linn specialists. We have an amazing training team at Linn into training all of our business partners so that they're not just someone who buys stuff from Linn and sells it to their customers. They are specialists. They're the guys that will speak to you, find out what's the right system for you, guide you through all the products. You know, for example, if you're buying the turntable, there's many iterations of what you could go for, more than just the standard versions, but maybe you want to change the arm or whatever it is. Same with the Select Streamer and anything Linn. So they'll guide you on what product's the right product for you, and then on top of that, they will then be the ones that come to your home, set it all up and get it singing, and you've heard that, and that's the difference. Like Peter, Shab and I, we sat and tuned and tuned and tuned, and that's why this sounds amazing.
Is there a room size recommendation for these speakers?
Not particularly. I think that's the beauty of these speakers and space optimization. These speakers can fill a massive room, and with space optimization they can actually be used very well in a smaller room as well. So if the customer wants these speakers, it would probably work in most rooms.
You mentioned that you work everything in-house, so that means these are not off-the-shelf speaker units. You designed it and you created it in the factory. We
have a supplier that supplies our cabinets, but absolutely everything is designed by Linn. I mean, we put such an investment and such a focus on R&D. Like engineering is the core soul of the company. So yeah, the cabinets are sourced, but everything is designed, every last detail is designed by Linn. And it's not even just the products, it's all the software as well. Space optimization is completely designed and run in-house. Everything, our software, our metalwork, all is done by Linn.
So thanks again for coming to Hungary, and I can hope that someday maybe we could visit Linn's factory.
100%, the door is open, we'd love to have you there, and me standing and talking about all this, I think is good. Hearing it's the most important thing, but honestly, when you go to the factory and you see that, like you really get even more from it because, as I say, everything is in the house, even like our circuit boards, the metalwork, manufacturing, all that. When you go around and you see the way it works, you really feel the heart and soul of the company.
But I also saw that you shot a video about the some factory stuff. So we will put a link into this video's description if you are curious. It's definitely recommended to see a few shots about the Linn factory. It's a very high tech, also highly skilled person. The materials, how you handle them, it's worth checking out. So
I'd maybe add one more plug to that. We recently did a Linn documentary. It was a 20-minute documentary all about Linn, the brand, where we came from, what it means to work at Linn, with 3 shorter episodes at like six minutes, focusing in on specific parts of the ethos in the company. So I would highly recommend them as well.
Is this also available?
Yeah, all on YouTube. I'll send you some links.
Okay, we will also link these new videos into the description as well.
Ha tetszett ez a videó, akkor nyomjatok egy lájkot, ha pedig szívesen néznétek hasonló tartalmakat a jövőben, akkor ne felejtsetek el feliratkozni csatornánkra, hamarosan további érdekes hifi témájú tartalmakkal jelentkezünk. Sziasztok!